Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a massive fundamental shift that is literally reshaping the business world as we know it. We're talking about moving away from that outdated era of episodic, one-off research projects and officially entering the age of continuous signal intelligence. If you want to understand exactly how top-tier organizations are spotting trends and adapting way faster than their competitors, well, you're in exactly the right place.
Start with this tense realization for a second. Your market is already talking. Every single week, your sales team is hearing new objections, right? Customer success is dealing with fresh frustrations, the product team sees shifting usage patterns, and leadership is watching revenue fluctuate. The market is constantly sending messages. So the real question is your company actually listening, or are you just kind of tuning out the noise?
Okay, let's dive into this. Traditionally, B2B market research happened in these totally isolated moments. An annual persona refresh, a massive yearly survey, or maybe a sudden win-loss study when the pipeline completely dries up. And hey, those are still useful, but the old model of project-based research simply cannot keep up anymore. B2B buyers change priorities overnight, competitors pivot, new tech drops out of nowhere. The market moves exponentially faster than a traditional research calendar, meaning annual listening, it's just not enough.
Which brings us to the core of the issue, the signal problem.
See, the disruption we're experiencing isn't because companies lack information. Honestly, it's the exact opposite. We are absolutely swimming in data. You have insights trapped in sales calls, buried deep in CRM notes, hidden inside customer success transcripts, win-loss feedback, support tickets, product metrics, the whole shebang. The real problem is that this massive volume of information is completely unstructured. It's fragmented across a dozen different departments, and those crucial market signals are just getting trapped in silos.
Let's walk through a vivid scenario of how this actually plays out in the real world. Step 1, your pipeline suddenly falls off a cliff, and nobody knows exactly why. So what happens? Step 2, sales immediately blames the pricing model. Step 3, product points the finger right back, blaming missing features. Everyone is basically blaming a different visible symptom. It isn't until step 4, when direct, proper research is finally conducted, that you uncover the true root cause. It turns out buyers aren't rejecting the price at all, they're terrified of the implementation risk. Without research, you're literally just guessing.
And this brilliantly illustrates a key point. If a single sales rep hears an objection 6 times, they might call it a massive trend. But really, it might just be an anomaly in their one specific territory. On the flip side, if 5 different teams each hear that exact same concern just once, individually, it feels like nothing, right? But together, that's a massive trend. Signals only become actionable intelligence when they're pulled out of those silos and connected.
So how do we do that? Let's look at the 2 lenses of market truth.
Now, you might be wondering how we actually make sense of these connected market signals. Well, we use 2 distinct approaches, quantitative and qualitative. But, and this is key, they aren't rivals. They don't fight each other. They're a really powerful strategic sequence. Use the qualitative side to discover the depth and form your initial hypothesis, then use the quantitative side to validate that hypothesis and actually measure its scale across the broader market.
Think of it like this. Numbers show you the shape of the market, but conversations reveal its soul. When your pipeline is down and the reason is a total mystery, you absolutely cannot start by just throwing a massive survey at the problem. You have to start with the qualitative soul, those deep, messy conversations, to figure out what on earth is happening long before you move to the quantitative shape to measure how widespread that issue is.
Okay, time to address the elephant in the room, AI versus human judgment.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how clearly it maps this out, because there's so much confusion about what AI should actually be doing for researchers. It really boils down to scale versus nuance. Look at the comparison here. AI provides incredible scale and speed. It can summarize, cluster, draft, and find patterns across mountains of data in seconds. But only humans can interpret that nuance, judge its validity, properly frame the problem, and, most importantly, decide the actual business meaning. AI produces speed, humans produce trust. And trust is absolutely non-negotiable when you're making major strategic decisions.
I want to give a really critical warning here. Do not use AI to invent personas from scratch or hallucinate your buyer's pain points. Honestly, that is incredibly shallow and pretty dangerous. Instead, you've got to deploy AI to scan those massive volumes of real inputs we talked about earlier, feed it actual CRM notes, real interview transcripts, genuine support tickets. Ask AI to help you listen to the real world, not invent a fake one.
Because AI is handling all that heavy lifting of summarization, the value of the human researcher is completely shifting. It's moving away from manual effort and entirely toward strategic judgment. These specific bullet points, these are the exact non-negotiable tasks where human expertise is 100% required. Designing the right studies, asking those nuanced questions, understanding the intricate business context, recognizing underlying bias, and ultimately turning that data into hard business decisions. AI literally cannot do these things for you.
So let's bring it all together. Welcome to the always-on system.
To make this work, you have to build a continuous system. But before you build anything, you have to ask the question before the question. Your stakeholders must be completely aligned on this. What decisions do we actually need to make based on this data? Because I promise you, if your leadership team doesn't agree up front on what business actions they're going to take once the findings are in, they're just going to sit in a room and argue about the data later. Complete alignment is a prerequisite to research.
Once you've got that alignment, you build the living components of your organization's market nervous system. And remember, this isn't a one-off project. It's a living ecosystem. We're talking ongoing customer listening, pulse surveys, deep CRM signal mining, and continuous competitive tracking. It is this beautiful, constant loop of AI-assisted synthesis, perfectly layered with expert human interpretation, letting you spot those weak signals and update your strategy constantly.
Of course, it's not always smooth sailing. Here are the critical mistakes to avoid.
Executing a transition of this magnitude is tough. So think of this as your direct warning checklist. First, do not treat localized sales feedback as the voice of the entire market. Second, never, ever reshape your product because of one incredibly loud customer. Stop waiting for a massive revenue crisis to finally run some research. Never blindly trust AI outputs without human validation. And perhaps the biggest sin of all, doing all this incredible work only to let the research get trapped inside some 60-page presentation deck that literally nobody ever looks at again.
So, the crucial point is this. Research that does not change a decision is just organized curiosity. If you are presenting these fascinating findings to your executive team, but those findings don't result in a pivot, a new message, a feature adjustment, or some clear business action, well, the intelligence system has failed. Action is literally the only metric that matters.
Let's wrap this up by looking at the winners of the AI era.
The market is talking right now. The future belongs to the teams that can take all those scattered, fragmented signals and connect them into a clear, unified strategy faster than the market itself moves. The winners are going to be the ones who combine AI's unmatched scale with human depth, building a living, breathing nervous system that continuously translates market whispers into a massive competitive advantage.
I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to take back to your teams today. Ask yourself, is your organization truly listening, or are you just reacting to the loudest signal in the room? Think about it. If you found this explainer valuable for shaping your own strategy and understanding the real future of research, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our upcoming deep dives. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.